peace will come, and let it begin with me. We need peace, and let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hope to control. Oh, let my life be lived for the good of my soul. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. The peace will come, and let it begin with me. Peace will come, and let it begin with me. We need peace, and let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hope to control. Oh, let my life be lived for the good of my soul. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. The peace will come, and let it begin with me, with me, with me.
It's 1 o'clock. And we move from a morning of remembrance, thanks and gratitude for all those who have died and suffered in wars, to an afternoon when it is now the time to look forward and make plans for actions we can take to bring peace. Last year's Songs for Peace was, I think, one of the best in terms of numbers, participating, and quite clement weather. This year's we don't have to worry about weather, just internet connections, which are just as unpredictable and not in our control. To start it off, there is Joy Leach, who will play a couple of fiddle tunes. Over to you.
Hi everybody, and a big thank you to Robbie, Mollie and Bob and CND for pulling this together at very short notice. So we have got a Songs of Peace this year. I think Bruce, I'm going to ask you if you mind very much just moving that way, just a tad. I don't want to jab. I don't want to jab Bruce in his ears. They're rather precious.
The audience of one would be most upset.
And yes, I'm going to play you a couple of tunes. The first one I think of as being a very peaceful, relaxing tune. And the second one is a little bit more upbeat. And I was thinking, well, yes, we've got a bit of reason to be a little bit, well, I've got reason, I think we all reason to feel slightly more upbeat than we might have felt a couple of mornings ago. So the first is called The Canal in October. In fact, they're French tunes. And the second one is a little French polka. And I'm just going to ask if you could all mute yourselves, if you haven't done already. Thank you. So sit back, chill out in your own zone and contemplate or whatever you'd like.
Well, it's not working at all here. Could you hear what I said when I introduced the beginning? Yeah. Oh, right. Right, and I ring that when that. Hello again, yeah. What is the number? It's just so long, you don't know what it is. Yeah, it says one tap mobile, and then there's just very long numbers. Where does it start? Where we should ring? No? Yeah. Well, I don't know whether we've got that. We've just got the Facebook link, and then we haven't got the bit after. Because I'm on Mollie's computer, not mine. So. Yeah. 4, 2, 4, 3. Yeah. 4, 4, 8, 1. 5, 2, 4, 0. 4203 44 81 5240. Just
Thank
one
you.
4. No, that would be lots. Tell me again now.
Sounds like there's a little bit of a technical discussion going on. Oh, Zoom is full of little technical hurdles, isn't it? But I'm sure it'll get well resolved.
So we've again, if you could tell me whether you can hear me, I'll carry on.
We can hear you up.
So and welcome to the Not the Cenotaph. My father Tony served on the ship HMS Argonaut as part of the British Pacific Fleet in the Second World War. They were on duty north of Japan in the days before the atom bomb were dropped. Here is an account of what the Argonaut was doing. It's written by Bill Proctor, a member of the crew. British and American ships were bombed Japan. Argonaut role was the guide. That's how it sustained bombing. We could not understand this. All ships were reasonably close to Japan to effect shelling, even a landing. The reason of the order was, of course, the atom bomb. Little boy to Hiroshima on August the 6th, and Fat Man on Nagasaki on August the 9th. We didn't see or hear anything, not even the mushroom clouds from the bombs. The two Japanese cities were, of course, many miles south from our operational area. That was the end of the war. Argonaut's duties were then to go to Formosa, now Taiwan, to relieve prisoners of war who they then took to Australia. After sailing to various places, including Shanghai, they then returned to Japan in January. On January the 9th, 1946, we arrived at Yokohama and stayed for 2 weeks. Of course, we visited Tokyo before leaving for Hiroshima to enforce the peace. What a sight! Utter destruction and complete devastation. We also went to Kyoto, which is close to Hiroshima. It too was a mess. We then had a 4-day visit to Nagoya, making a return visit to Hiroshima and Yokohama. It was June 1946 before my father got back home to England. My father died when I was very young, so I was not able to talk to him about his experiences. But I do have a saucer, which I was told was the only object he found in Hiroshima in one piece. This is the saucer. The horror of those two atom bombs, Little Boy and Fat Man, has I suppose meant that atom bombs have not been used in war. They have, however, been used in tests and still cause harm to those who live in the South Pacific. Other bombing, however, remains unabated and has killed civilians in their thousands since August 1945. Those who order barrel bombs to be dropped do not visit afterwards to see what is left. Launching and control of drones carrying bombs can be done from many a mile away. Bombing is atrocious, whether nuclear, chemical, biological or splinter bombs. They are remotely aggressive and devastating for the target and large surrounding area. In today's climate, it is hard to think about how we can affect change. I often think that the last scene of the film from Dr. Strangelove would now be lots of crazies trying to straddle the bomber into their personal death and glory, along with millions of others. There are, however, I believe, more people who want to put an end to war. C&D has achieved a lot. It takes time. The arguments we put forward to demand an end to war are the strongest in terms of cost and security of states and of people. It is abhorrent that atom bombs causing death and destruction at the time and for years in the future were used. To give them names, Little Boy and Fat Man, show a complete disregard for humanity. Let us continue to work together with C&D, create ideas of how we can get our message across and keep the momentum going. The next song, sung by Tony and Rahel, tells the story of the journey so far and how it continues with younger people picking up the baton. Tony and Rahel, over to you.
Hello. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, so we're going to sing How Beautiful Upon the Mountain, and we're going to start with the chorus, and we're going to sing the chorus twice at the beginning to give you a chance to join in at home. Make sure you're muted though, or it'll sound strange. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Marching from old Damascus, you came side by side. In your eyes, a new world on the way. Peace was in your heart and justice would not be denied. You sang, we shall overcome someday. God knows the courage you possess, and I say best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. marching round Westminster Greenham and Mayway, marching round the fast lane missile base, speaking truth to power, singing peace in Babylon, asking us why not give peace a chance. God knows the courage you possess, and Isaiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Now the generations who have joined you on this road look to you with power in their eyes. Now you know the torch has passed as they pick up the load. Now you see their eyes are on the prize. God knows the courage they possess, and Isaiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace.
Thank you very much, Rahel. That's beautiful.
It was.
So I'm just going to say a few words now on behalf of Yorkshire CND. And I just want to say that while this is an event being hosted by Yorkshire CND, this is an event organised by Peace Builders in Bradford, and we are amazed by your enthusiasm and your inability to be put off by a global pandemic. So thanks very much for all who've put in so much time and effort in organising today. So today is obviously important for us, not just to remember all those whose lives have been tragically cut short by war, but also to reaffirm our commitment to end all wars. The last few years have not been an easy time for peace builders, and we've seen international treaties and global organisations which exist to enhance cooperation very much being threatened with breakdown, and a number of cornerstone international treaties have either been allowed to lapse or have been torn up. And while we're hopeful that yesterday's election results will create more space for dialogue and international cooperation for the security of all the world's citizens, we're also aware of the need of all of us, whoever is in charge, as citizens, to keep pushing for peace and the security which peace needs to blossom. Speaking of the new presidency, 2 days after the inauguration of the new president, we have a new international treaty coming into force, which is the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which comes into force on the 22nd of January next year, and will for the first time make nuclear weapons illegal under international law. So it's a very significant milestone, really, and a great tribute to all those who spent so many years campaigning on the issue. And what's particularly important about this treaty is that it specifically recognises the victims of nuclear testing. And we remember all of those victims today, including the many British and Commonwealth service personnel who we used as test subjects without their knowledge. So I would just like to, again, thank everyone for coming today, and just to be able to share that positive news, really, that I think there are better days ahead in so many ways. And we've just got to sort of push through this this difficult time. So I will now, I think, just standing in for Rob on this one. I'd now like to introduce Hilary, who will be singing "Last Night I Had the Strangest Dream," which I will now also post in the chat, the lyrics too. So please do join in at home, although again, with your microphone disabled if possible, much that we would love to hear your voices, it just makes things a little bit difficult on Zoom because of the delay. Take it away,
everyone.
Hilary.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Good stuff, okay. This is a song that was written, I think it was by John Denver. I've only ever seen him singing it. So as far as I know, he was the author of it as well. So here we go. Last night I had the strangest dream I've ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a and the room was filled with men, and the papers they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the papers were all signed and a million copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round, and the guns and swords and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I had the strangest dream I've ever had before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. All we say is give peace a chance.
Thank you very much, Hilary. That was lovely. Thank you. And now it's over to Bob Marshall, who has to take credit in a way for just making sure that we did something. By bumping us into us in Bradford the other week. Bob Marshall.
Right, thanks very much. I should be live now. I expected my screen to, I expected to transfer the screen to me, but still, I'll carry on. Yes, I met Rob and Mollie in Bradford just over a week ago and said I was sorry there wasn't anything happening, and Rob got this together. I'm really impressed. When I was young, I noticed that there were lots of old spinsters in our village. I once asked Mother why there were so many old spinsters. I mean, I could think of 7 in Granny's circle of friends. And she said, well, so many men had died in the First World War. And nobody ever talked about the people who died, except for one lady. Granny had been nanny to 2 children before the First World War. And Maxwell had been called up at age 18 in 1918, I think. And like so many young officers of that generation, was along with his men, were just used as cannon fodder. They just died very quickly, very soon after they arrived in France. So, and his younger sister stayed in touch with Granny, and we used to see her regularly. So I wear a red poppy from Maxwell Baker, and my white poppy particularly is that my dad's mother died of the flu in 1919. So for all the people who died, not the white poppies for everybody who died, not just the soldiers. So the people who died in the Holocaust, the people who died in the bombings, the people who died of famine, particularly in Bengal in the Second World War. And there's so much collateral damage with war, normally 10 times as many civilians die as soldiers. So I wear the white poppy for everyone. Now, the First World War just seemed so pointless when I started to understand. I still don't understand the reasons for it. But Wilfred Owen, who died just 1 week before the armistice, wrote a poem which Benjamin Britten uses in his War Requiem. The parable of the old man and the young, which I will now read. You can find it anywhere, but it's very well known. So Abraham rose and clave the wood, and went and took with fire with him and a knife. And as they sojourned both of them together, Isaac the firstborn spake and said, my father, behold the preparations, fire and iron, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Then Abraham bound the youth with belts and straps, and builded parapets and trenches there, and stretched forth the knife to slay his son, when lo, an angel called him out of heaven, saying, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do anything to him. Behold, a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. Offer the ram of pride instead of him. But the old man would not so, but slew his son, and half the seed of Europe one by one.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you very much, Bob. And now we're going into a song which is "Travel On," a scenic artist song, which me and Mollie have altered the last verse. So the words will be in the chat. So hope you can follow on. Travel on, there's a river that is flowing, a river that is flowing night and day. Travel on, to the river that is flowing. The river will be with you all the way. Travel on, to the river that is flowing. The river will be with you all the way. Travel on, to the music that is playing. The music that is playing night and day. Travel on, to the music that is playing. The music will be with you all the way. Travel on, to the music that is playing. The music will be with you all the way. You can join those who work for peace and justice. On the road they are travelling night and day. Travel on, to the justice that is coming. You'll lead and you'll follow all the way. Travel on, towards the peace that comes with justice. Your companions will be with you all the way.
Well, I hope our internet connection wasn't too unstable. Thank you so much for being companions today. And we hope that next year we can meet again at the cenotaph as we have in last year's. We hope that also we can encourage each other in different ways to work for peace and justice in any ways that are possible in the year ahead. And we do thank Matt again for arranging the gathering. We're much indebted to Matt. Thank you.
And so it's over to Matt and playing out, I think, if unless there's anything to say, playing out as we normally finish with the cenotaph with Roger Davies singing Into the Sun, and again the background of past songs of peace from Matt.
Thanks, everybody.
Go.
Everybody's gonna take it one step at a time. Everybody's gonna make it to the finishing line. We're coming out of the darkness together as one. We're gonna walk into the sun. We're gonna walk into the sun. Well, I've been thinking as I ramble around how blessed I must be with the friends I've found. For the way is dark, you know the road's so long. Still side by side, we keep traveling on. Everybody's gonna take it one step at a time. Everybody's gonna make it to the finishing line. Coming out of the darkness together as one. We're gonna walk into the sun. We're gonna walk into the sun. Many miles we travel, many rivers we cross. Many times we stumble when the way is lost. Though still no mountains stand in our way, I want to walk beside you, come what may. Everybody's gonna take it one step at a time. Everybody's gonna make it to the finishing line. We're coming out of the darkness together as one. We're gonna walk into the sun. We're gonna walk into the sun. You know we're gonna walk. I wanna walk. We'll walk into the sun.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you all next year in person. Huge thanks to Mollie and Rob and everyone who put this together.
Thank you. Nice to see
Thank you,
people. Bye.
everybody.
Bye all.
Thanks.